Hello cardboard lovers, it's Cardboard Badger here. I hope you're doing well. And today we are going to be talking about a banned and restricted announcement. Oh yes, happy Valentine's Day to you all. This is going to excite and cheer up many people indeed. It'll probably irritate many also. Whichever way, please let me know why. Which one is it that you are feeling? Let me know in the comments below. Is this something you're super happy about? But before we get into what it is, you may have a rough idea. We better click on it and find out, shall we? By the way, I got horrible man flu and I'm on medication, so my reading might be pretty interesting. Or not as it would normally be. So here we have it. We have MTG Arena banned and restricted announcement, which came out today on Valentine's Day, the day of love. And a lot of people are going to love this. Here we go. Nexus of Fate. Oh, look at it. Nexus of Fate is banned in Arena standard formats. Nexus of Fate is not banned in traditional or speciality formats, and it is effective as of today. So there we have it. We do not have another banned and restricted announcement for another month, or just under a month, but we have Nexus of Fate disappearing off the Arena planet. So here we go. It says here, Nexus of Fate, to ban or not to ban Nexus of Fate. It's been quite the debate. There's been a lot of things that we look at when deciding whether or not to ban a card, but ultimately it comes down to answering two basic questions. Question one, is a card too powerful? When it comes to determining the overall power level of a deck, there are a lot of data points we can take into consideration. We can look at the metagame and see whether it's stagnated due to dominant strategy, or if it's diversity in the deck archetypes people are playing. We can also look at the deck's win rate and how other decks in the format fare when matched against it. And if either of those scenarios appears to show an issue, we try to identify which card or cards may be pushing the deck beyond format healthy power levels. So it says here, Nexus of Fate doesn't really fit any of the power base criteria for banning. It says while it made a bit of a splash leading up to the Pro Tour 25th anniversary and the re-emergence of Turbo Fog as a standard legal deck archetype, it only appeared in about 6 of the 165 standard deck lists. None of which made it to the top 4. And looking at recent Grand Prix, the last time Nexus of Fate made it into a top 8 was in the hands of Eric Froelich during GP Los Angeles back in August. So as far as that's going on, it sounds like it's basically a card that doesn't get played often. Obviously, there isn't a lot of them around because of it being a firebox promo. But it says here, with the release of Guilds of Ravnica and the rotation of both Kaladesh and Armageddon blocks, we saw the meta reshape itself, which is usually a good indicator of a healthy format. Nexus of Fate still had a place in a few control decks, but was by no means dominating the format. Standard has continued to be a diverse diverse play environment supporting a number of archetypes and counterplay between them. So, despite all of this, Nexus of Fate continued to be a hot topic of discussion, particularly when it came to MTG Arena, which is true because you can just scoop them up and have a playset. We talked about it. We've seen our pro players talk about it, which is quite an interesting topic of conversation as far as the kind of 2-hour-long Nexus of Fate footage that was out and about. And we have seen our community talk about it. Since most of the conversation had very little to do with this overall power level, this brings us to the question we try to address when considering banning a card. And the question is the card disrupting normal play? So this is where you can make your views, people. Do you feel Nexus of Fate is something that disrupted normal play? If you've come across this on Arena, you may possibly find you do not actually partake in the game at all. You can sit back and watch, which is something I've done at my LGS, And for the first couple of times, it is interesting to watch and see it happen. After that, it isn't. That's my opinion. It says here, this is admittedly a rather subjective criterion and is one of the reasons why we thought long and hard about what we wanted to, we want to address Nexus of Fate. This isn't the first time we've taken into consideration the disruption of normal play when it came to determining whether a card warranted a ban. The Eggs deck is probably the most prolific example of this, but we also seen it play a factor in the more recent bannings of Aetherworks Marvel, Crank Clan Ironworks. As anyone who's been looped by Nexus of Fate can attest, the card can easily and significantly disrupt normal play. It can indeed. The tricky thing is with this situation is what makes Nexus of Fate frustrating is a combination of its design and how technology handles the ability to repeat actions. So this kind of makes me feel that obviously on the arena side of things it is the technology which is causing Nexus of Fate to be a problem and not the fact that Nexus of Fate can be a frustrating card. That's how I'm taking it. It says you typically don't run into the same situations in tabletop because our rules do allow for certain shortcuts. When looping a sequence in tabletop, if both players mutually understand what's going on, it's okay to fast forward until the loop is broken. That's fair enough. Either because the game is won or the player looping has reached the desired board state. Worst case scenario, players in competitive play can also call a judge to keep a stalled game moving. The same cannot be said for digital environments where you must explicitly identify each game choice every time you wish to make it. There's no calling over the game's rules engine to explain the situation so you can't skip ahead, or to issue a ruling on whether the actions taken could be considered stalling or slow play, at least not yet. Part of the challenge with these kind of loops is that even if we manage to win the digital arms race, to force a game to concede when game states remain unchanged, they could still be disruptive to what we consider normal play. Using Nexus of Fate as an example, win conditions sometimes take a half hour or more to finish. I think definitely more, with a majority of all of the time being non-interactive. This said, there are also cases where Nexus sees play and resolves games in a non-disruptive fashion, which is why banning it has been debated for so long. So for now, to reduce play disruptions, we've decided to ban Nexus of Fate in MTG Arena in standard best of ones formats. Play, ranked play, and the constructive event. We're leaving it unbanned in all traditional best of three. So at least in a best of three, you have the possibility of obviously using your sideboard tech to obviously get rid of it. Please let me know what you think. Are you happy with this? Do you think they should have banned it completely? Do you think they should have taken it across into the world of paper and done the same in that direction too? Do you think it should have just been totally left and this was not a good idea at all, and it should be something where the bans stay level in both worlds, both digital and in paper, rather than starting to have things that can be played and can't be played? I would be very interested to hear your views and opinions. This has been a very, very interesting and bonus banning and restricted list. So yeah, happy Valentine's Day, because I think this will cheer quite a few people up. Obviously on the other side of things it may irritate too, but let me know what you think. And other than that, I'd just like to say, if you stuck with me in my appalling reading, my medical haze, then thank you very much indeed for watching, and we'll see you again soon here on Cardboard Badger.